again, I'm Steve York and you are tuned in to Octagon 1, State of the UFC. Today we're shining the spotlight on the UFC welterweight division in wake of Saturday's Robbie Lawler, Matt Brown fight to determine the number one contender. The UFC welterweight division has recently been dominated by UFC great Georges St-Pierre. Since 2008 he's been champion by avenging his first title loss to Matt Serra. Now, with Rush taking a well-deserved leave of absence, it has opened up the gates in a very talented division. Rory McDonald has been on a tear lately as he's finished both Damian Maia and Tyrone Woodley this year. Previous to those fights, Robbie Lawler earned a shot at the vacant title by defeating Rory McDonald. This led to an easy candidate for Fight of the Year at UFC 171 in March when Robbie Lawler took on Johnny Hendricks for the vacant welterweight title.
And this is the end of the round. Lawler lands this left hand. Didn't look as bad in the replay as it looked live. It looked like Hendricks moved away with it.
Undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world, Johnny Big Rig Hendricks.
Though it's been roughly debated by fans, Johnny Hendricks won the fight via unanimous decision. Easy to find the irony in that since most fans think that Hendricks beat GSP in his previous bout. Elsewhere, in the very same division, Matt Brown is making his bid for the title. Back in May, he faced Eric Silva in a classic tough guy fight. And after Brown was kicked hard early in the first round, the Immortal practically dominated the rest of the fight. The match was called in the third after Brown finished Silva via TKO strikes. Matt Brown's active 7-win streak now sits tied for 10th in UFC history. And that paints the picture for this Saturday night at UFC on Fox. The Immortal Matt Brown takes on Robbie Lawler in what could very well determine the number one contender spot. A shot at Johnny Hendricks and his UFC welterweight championship. While Robbie Lawler is better for business in a sequel to one of the greatest fights of all time, one can only wonder if Matt Brown will get his shot if he wins. Even though Brown has a 7-fight win streak, many still have doubts about him. And that's going to do it for our quick UFC welterweight primer. Don't miss it this Saturday at UFC on Fox. Robbie Lawler, Matt Brown. I'm Steve York and this is Octagon 1.